As the JCF continues the investigation into the disappearance of Tashina Patterson and her 10-month-old child, Saraya Paulwell, from their homes at 3 Gilmore Drive, Kingston 20, on Saturday, September 9, 2023, I wish to inform the public that we are now satisfied by the overwhelming evidence secured that both Tashina Patterson and her 10-month-old baby, Saraya, were brutally murdered and their bodies burned and disposed of.
Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Today's true crime story is quite graphic and viewer discretion is advised. Jamaica as a country is currently going crazy due to this true crime story that is currently playing out as we speak, in which an American woman by name Leoda Bradshaw, who is also with the United States Navy, has been accused, together with 3 men, one of whom is her cousin, of allegedly conspiring to kidnap and unalive the opposition lawmaker Phillip Paulwell's infant daughter and her mother. This is one of the cases that it just hits you, especially due to the fact that it involves a 10-month-old innocent baby. It is bad enough that the life of an adult has to be cut short, but it gets over the roof and unimaginable when, in addition to that, the life of a 10-month-old kid also has to be taken. Who will do such a thing? That is why we are here today. Now, it is being alleged that Leoda Bradshaw, who is also a petty officer in the United States Navy, was actually in a relationship and had a child with Paulwell, who she considers to be her spouse. Now, as soon as I learned about this, my instincts started going off, even as I went through the research, because it began to feel more like a case of vindictiveness and maybe a case that will thrive along the borders of a love triangle gone wrong, or totally something different else. But then, 10-month-old baby by name Saraya Paulwell and her mother, 27-year-old Tashina Patterson, were unfortunately brutally unalived and their remains burned and disposed of. I believe that the manner in which they were unalived actually tells that it's personal for whoever orchestrated it. That is my belief. But again, I'm waiting for what can be proved in court. Now, the mother and her daughter were abducted from their home on Gilmore Drive in St. Andrew on September 9th, 2023 in Jamaica. It is also been alleged that Leoda Bradshaw paid persons a sum of money to kidnap and unalive the mother and daughter. Now, the murder contract was allegedly for a whopping $500,000, and Leoda Bradshaw allegedly made a down payment of $100,000 US. The police have laid several charges against Bradshaw and 3 other men by name Richard Brown, Rushane Miller, and Roland Balfour. Now let's talk about Roland Balfour. According to my research, Roland Balfour is actually the cousin of Leoda Bradshaw. And I just don't get it. If you are that close to this person, why don't you knock some sense into her head if she actually did this? That, hey, whatever your reasons are, it's not worth it. But instead, you choose to go down this path with this person. I just don't get it. Is it about the money? Or is just that both of them, if guilty, are just as twisted and are birds of the same feathers, to the extent that you couldn't have any remorse or mercy, given the fact that the would-be victims would include a 10-month-old baby. Now, voluntary bills of indictment were proffered before the Home Circuit Court early this week in respect of Brown and Miller, who are scheduled to return to court later in this month, October, when their matters will come up for hearing. And I'm hoping that this case would actually end and be dealt with appropriately and justice will be served. So when Bradshaw and Balfour appeared in the Home Circuit Court today by way of a voluntary bill of indictment and are scheduled to return to go back on December 1st, when their matters will also be mentioned, it was established that truly they had that relationship, they had that contact, and conversations actually ensued. I'll get into it. But then here are the allegations in the case, and I'm going to break them down one by one. So first of all, Leoda Bradshaw, a resident of the United States of America, came to the island of Jamaica on the 6th of September 2023. Leoda Bradshaw was in a relationship and had a child with Mr. Phillip Paulwell, who is the Member of Parliament in Jamaica and whom she considered to be her spouse. I don't know why it's she who is considering Mr. Phillip Paulwell to be her spouse. I think it should be mutual, and that alone, for me, gives a signal that there's a problem there. Why should she be the only one considering him as her spouse? Why isn't he considering himself as her spouse as well? Or the feeling isn't mutual, obviously, because if it was, then I don't see how Tushana would come in and also have this kid who eventually becomes a victim. So I believe there's a possibility, a strong one for that matter, that a love triangle could be involved in this case. Now, on the said day, it is alleged that Leoda Bradshaw communicated with these three men, including her cousin, Roland Balfour, another person called Richard Brown, and another person called Roshane Miller. Now, during these conversations up to the 9th of September 2023, it's alleged that there was an agreement made under the direction of Leoda Bradshaw for these men to kidnap and unalive Tushina Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter, Saraya Paulwell, who was the product of a relationship that Miss Patterson had had with Mr. Phillip Paulwell. Now, so if we are going by this, then it means that Leoda Bradshaw considers Mr. Paulwell as her spouse. And now, if that is the consideration that she has, imagine how she would feel if Tushina Patterson has come in, has a relationship with Mr. Paulwell, and out of that has a 10-month-old baby. That is a love triangle right there. And I believe that that might be what fueled everything that played out, if she's indeed guilty of what she's been charged and accused of. That is my first instinct, but again, like I said, I could be wrong. Now, this plan also contained part payment, which had actually been made of a certain amount of money by Leoda Bradshaw to the men for the successful execution of the plan. So, on Saturday, 9th of September 2023, it's alleged that Miss Tushina Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter, Saraya, were unfortunately taken from their home at Gilmore Drive in Kingston by Leoda Bradshaw in a tinted SUV motor vehicle. Leoda Bradshaw subsequently delivered them to men, including two of her co-conspirators in St. Andrew. My question here is, how was it possible that Leoda Bradshaw alone was able to take Tushina Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter from their home and hand them over to her co-conspirators? Given the fact that Saraya was just 10 months, she couldn't resist, so let's leave her out of this analysis. But then, at least, there's going to be a one-on-one between Tushina Patterson and Leoda Bradshaw. Was it that there was a fight? Was it that she was able to overpower Toshina Patterson? Or was it that she tricked her? Was it that she dragged her? How did that play out? I think we need to know this, and I'm looking into that. I'm hoping it will come up when they get to trial, such that we'll get to see more of these details coming out. Because unless, of course, they had a relationship where Toshina trusted Leoda until she realized she had trusted a snake, if she was guilty. Now, it's also further alleged that Miss Patterson and her daughter were forcibly taken to an area in East Kingston, and at that spot, they were unalived by these said men who were armed with a firearm. So, with all this, heavy as they are, here are the charges against these people. The first is Leoda Bradshaw, and this is what she's been indicted for. Leoda Bradshaw currently has been indicted for conspiracy to kidnap Toshina Patterson on diverse dates between the 6th and 9th of September 2023. She's also been indicted for conspiracy to kidnap Phillip Paulwell on the diverse dates between 6th and 9th day of September 2023. She's also been indicted of conspiracy to unalive Toshina Patterson on diverse dates between 6th and 9th of September 2023. She's also been indicted of conspiracy to unalive Phillip Paulwell on the diverse dates between 6th and 9th of September 2023. She's also indicted with kidnapping of Toshina Patterson on the 9th day of September 2023, and also the kidnapping of Phillip Paulwell on the 9th day of September 2023. Again, she's been indicted for the capital murder of Toshina Patterson on the 9th day of September 2023, and finally for the capital murder concerning Phillip Paulwell on the 9th day of September 2023. It is worth noting, actually, that capital murder counts regarding Leoda Bradshaw are based on the allegations of a contract for hire arrangement where she is alleged to have actually paid persons a sum of money to abduct and unalive Toshina Patterson and Phillip Paulwell, contrary to Section 2, subsection 1 EI of the Offences Against the Person Act of Jamaica. This is going to be a roller coaster ride for Leoda Bradshaw. Now, the second accused, Richard Brown, has also been indicted for the following: conspiracy to kidnap Toshina Patterson on diverse dates between 6th and 9th day of September, conspiracy to kidnap Phillip Paulwell, conspiracy to unalive Toshina Patterson, conspiracy to unalive Phillip Paulwell, the kidnapping of Toshina Patterson, kidnapping of Phillip Paulwell, unaliving of Phillip Paulwell on the 9th day of September 2023. The third accused, by name Rushane Miller, was not left out. He has also been indicted for the following: accessory before the fact to kidnapping of Toshina Patterson on diverse dates between 6th and 9th of September 2023, accessory before the fact to kidnapping of Phillip Paulwell, accessory before the fact to unaliving of Toshina Patterson, and accessory before the fact to unaliving of Phillip Paulwell. And the last, Roland Balfour, the cousin of Leoda Bradshaw, is also indicted for the following: accessory before the fact to kidnapping of Toshina Patterson, accessory before the fact to kidnapping of Phillip Paulwell, accessory before the fact to unaliving of Toshina Patterson, accessory before the fact to unaliving of Phillip Paulwell, and those are the charges that have been leveled against them and the indictments that these four people are facing. But it doesn't end there. This case, I believe, is going to travel quite a distance because it's an international case. given the fact that Leoda Bradshaw is actually an American and the victims are Jamaicans and actually the family of a Jamaican member of parliament, Mr. Phillip Paulwell. And this case is going to really shake how things will play out. Mr. Phillip Paulwell actually took to social media to express his pain about the loss of his wife and kid. And it's a difficult time, especially when there are also other conspiracies out there, where to an extent one conspiracy is talking about the fact that Leoda Bradshaw was actually set up by none other than Mr. Phillip Paulwell himself, and that Phillip Paulwell orchestrated everything. I don't know if that could be true, or I don't know if that is actually false, but I'm trusting that investigators are going to leave no stone unturned as they pursue this case, because, like I said, it's bad enough the life of an adult has been cut short, but I think it's over the top and really gruesome when it looks at the fact that one of the victims is actually a 10-month-old kid. And I believe the Jamaican authorities are going to leave no stone unturned as they pursue this case. I would not be surprised that as proceedings continue, new charges are leveled against these people and probably other suspects also roped in. But like I said earlier, I'm waiting to see the motive that the accused, Leoda Bradshaw, had to perpetrate all these things. And for Leoda Bradshaw, she's also actually not left out of the conspiracy theories, because there's another conspiracy talking about the fact that Leoda Bradshaw actually tried doing same and putting hits on some friends of hers whom she tried to invite to Jamaica after she had taken out a life insurance policy with them and used herself as a beneficiary. That has also not been substantiated. But at the end of the day, the fact is that a mother, Tushina, and her daughter, Soraya, have unfortunately been unalived by very wicked people, and these 4 suspects have been charged and indicted for that act. And for that, the law must take its full course. On the other hand, Leoda Bradshaw's attorney is also concerned about the news out there and the misinformation that comes with it. Now, Leoda Bradshaw actually made a first appearance, and when she was coming out and she saw the media was actually taking coverage of her coming out of the building, she shied away from it. She ran and hid and covered her face and came out later. This is heavy, and sometimes when you hear such cases, you have to really discipline yourself so you don't get sensationalized, given the fact that in the eyes of the law, Leoda Bradshaw, although accused with these 3 men, is actually to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. But if you take to social media, it looks like people are already condemning her. That is not saying that she is innocent. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that the law requires us to sit on the fence until there's a definite outcome of the legal proceeding. But sometimes it's difficult for people to do that, and you have to discipline yourself so you don't join that procession of people and get sensationalized looking at the crime that has happened and the fact that they have been charged and indicted for those crimes. I'm trusting the Jamaican legal system to fast-track this case because justice needs to be served and served fast. But what do you think about all this? Assuming, the key word here being assuming, that Leoda Bradshaw is actually guilty of this offense, what do you think her motive was? For me, I am tipping love triangle gone wrong. The scorn of a woman, or let me say the scorn of a bitter woman, because per the research I've done, she met Mr. Phillip Paulwell first. They had that relationship. It's actually reported that she also had a child with Mr. Phillip Paulwell. And I don't know how she takes it that Tushina Patterson had to come in after her when Leoda Bradshaw to date still considers Mr. Phillip Paulwell as her spouse. And that is where I believe the whole contention is. The fact that she is the one considering him as her spouse. Not that they are spouses to each other, but she is considering him as her spouse. I think that is a sign that she is holding on to him and trying to fight to keep a relationship or a spousal relationship with him. I could be wrong, but my primary instincts are pointing in that direction, that the basic, fundamental blueprint of all this, if they are as suspected, could just be a matter of a love triangle gone wrong, and unfortunately to China Patterson and her 10-month-old kid, Soraya Paulwell, becoming the unfortunate victims of the scorn of one of the parties in this love triangle. Following the case, I'll be bringing you updates as and when they are due. Share your views and your comments in all this. What do you think? Do you believe in any of the conspiracies, or do you have any other information I didn't touch on in this video? Please let me know in the comment section, because I try to be as elaborate and fair as possible to all parties. Let me know what you think. What do you think caused this? Do you think it's true that there's a bigger conspiracy at play and Leoda Bradshaw was actually set up? If yes, by who? If no, why do you think she did it? Do you even think she did it at all? Let's have a discourse in the comment section. And please, as you watch these videos, don't just watch and consume the information, educate yourself as well and apply them to your life as you go through your lives. I'll be following the case. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'll catch you next time, but until then, you stay safe out there.